And I'm good. I'm really good because look who I have. If you're watching it now on Facebook, and if you're listening online at tabernacleradio.org, I have Rex Hardy Jr. live on the Artist Stage radio show. Woo!
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Rex, for being here. I know that you are like everywhere all the time, right?
Yeah, I try to be.
He tries to be.
Yeah, I try to be.
People are expecting you to be where you need to be because you are connected to so many great things going on in the music industry.
Yeah, I mean, that was a dream. So to be in that, that circle of calls, yeah, I love it.
Well, I'm glad you're here. We're on the Artist Stage radio show on Tabernacle Radio, and I'm excited because every week on the Artist Stage, either I'm talking about, mentioning either an artist, a musician, producer, songwriter, entertainment lawyer, music executive who is connected to the music industry. So because the purpose of this show, Rex, is for artists and those who want to be in the music industry to be better. Okay. Just overall better. Mm-hmm. I guess I could say holistically better. Yeah. So not just helping with the music part, but our emotions, our mind, because it's a pretty intense industry.
Oh yeah.
I won't say rough, but it's intense.
Yeah, it takes a lot out of you.
It really does. Yeah. And that's what we talk about here on the Artist Stage. If you're checking it out, you're listening online, thank you for tuning in. That's at tabernacleradio.org. Tell everybody to tune in right now because we have Rex Hardy Jr. I put in my Facebook status the acclaimed Rex Hardy Jr. He's one of the hardest working musicians, music directors, drummers, producers in the industry. Are you checking it out on my Facebook page? Thank you for tuning in. Well, Rex, every week we share good music, we share industry tips, but we also give an affirmation. And the affirmation, it starts out as don't just be, become. Mm-hmm. And this week we're saying don't just be, become a leader. And as I was looking at the definition of a leader, of course, it's one who goes forth in front of people. They have I'm not going to say they have control over situations, but they work at making sure things are in line. Right. But they have a lot of influence, highly influential people. Would you consider yourself to be a leader?
At this point, yeah.
Yes.
It was, I think it's a lot to become a leader. Like, it takes a lot mentally. Okay. Because a lot of people have the talent or even the gift to be a leader. But if you don't know how to, pull it in and accept your calling, then it won't really work because you're in front of so many people. You have to deal with different people. Right. And you have to be steady no matter what your attitude is that day. Okay. Because it all starts from the top. I like what you just said. You have to be steady. Yeah. So that means your eyes are, I won't say always on everything, but you're aware of people watching you. Absolutely. All the time. And they watch you all the time, right? Yeah. And I mean, I learned that from my wife. Okay. Because I'm really quiet, honestly. Like, even though I'm in front of people all the time, I'm fairly reserved. So people will speak to me, I'll speak back, and then that's it. He said he learned that from his wife, y'all. I did. That's really good. Yeah, I did. Well, tell me how is it that you learned that trait from her? Well, I mean, because sometimes I'll be in certain situations and I want it to be regular. Okay. And I'm not saying if you're not a leader, you're regular, but what I'm saying is I wanted to do sometimes what everybody else did. So you see people out partying or doing this or doing that. I was like, why can't I do that? Like, I mean, whatever. And this is from a kid. Okay. And she was like, Rex, people see you different. Whether it's because my parents are pastors, whether it's because, I'm who I am musically. She was like, you can't do everything everybody else does. That's true. And if you do it, it's got to be in moderation. Whatever it is. Yeah. And if you didn't know, his parents, who are your parents, Rex, if the world doesn't know already? Rexsell and LaVille Hardy, pastors at God's House of All Nations. Right here in Chicago, Illinois, right over on Stony Island. Yeah, 8409 South Stony Island. And so we want to just give a shout out and just honor his parents because they are the ones who produced you. Obviously, they gave birth to him. And I know they're super, super proud of you and all of your accomplishments. Yeah. Well, Rex, it's something that you mentioned that your wife is one who pretty much guided you, to let you know, hey, everybody's watching you, because tonight, this week, our scripture, and I didn't share this with you, is 1 Peter 2:12.
and I'm reading from the NLT version. We got several people who are checking it out on Facebook. Hey, KJ. So sorry, KJ. If you don't know who Catherine Janine, do you know Catherine Janine?
I don't think so.
KJ from Chicago. We are praying for you, Catherine. You know I love you, girl. She's my twin. It's okay that you missed everything because I know the things that you've been dealing with. So it's okay, girl. It's totally okay. But you know I love you and I'm praying for you. But our scripture comes from 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 12, and it says, "Be careful to live properly among your unbelieving neighbors. Then even if they accuse you of doing wrong, they will see your honorable behavior and they will give honor to God when he judges the world." Now, isn't that something? If that was this week's scripture, because we hadn't talked about that.
No,
we just
not at
talked
all.
about the affirmation.
Yeah.
So we know God is real. I know he's real.
Very much so.
Because who knew he was going to say that about what his wife said? But again, 1 Peter 2 and 12, and just to sum it up, just be careful how you living, because those who do not know Christ, they're watching you. They're watching everything you do. Does that mean that we're not going to mess up? Yes, but just do it again. Get it together the next day. Get yourself in order. Pray, repent, because people are watching you, because you are not just leaders in the industry you're connected to and you're part of, but you are representatives of Christ.
I agree.
So we have Rex Hardy right here on the Artist Stage radio show. If you don't know who he is, you're going to find out tonight. He is, well, I'll just start out right current. Well, he has been for about 14 years, 12 or 14 years, the music director for Miss Mary J. Blige.
Yeah. That's a long time.
That's a long time, Rex. That means that your character, you have been a leader. You have to have been 14 years.
Yeah. Well, I didn't start off as the music. I've been her music director probably now for about 10 years.
That's still a long time.
Yeah, it is. I guess I didn't. Yeah,
That's
it is.
a long time.
But yeah, it's just, I mean, I started off as a follower. I still follow people, but, you know, and then I just took from every person I was under, and then now I do what I do.
He does what he does, and he's saying it like it's just, you know, he just does. He is the music director, meaning we're going to break down what that actually means. But if you if you're a musician, a producer, artist, singer, please tune in. Now, if you have any questions for Rex, call in 312-629-4499. Tell everybody that Rex Hardy is live on the Artist Stage radio show on Tabernacle Radio. But Rex, we're going to go to some music, and I think this song is fitting. I was checking out a Facebook Live, a guy, a pastor and a singer, he's a musician and an artist. His name is Jonathan Dunn, out of Ohio. He was doing a Facebook Live, and he reminded me of a song that he's written, and it's from one of his projects. It's called Destiny, and it's basically just reminding us that we are who God says we are, and it's featuring Jason Nelson right here on the Artist Stage.
I walk in confidence, and I'm no longer insecure about my identity. Made in the image of the one who created me in destiny. I am who God says I am. Said I am who God says I am. I'm wonderfully made. I'm so glad he chose me for his purpose. I know my destiny, destiny. Sing it.
Yes, it's a wonderful thing to be free indeed from opinions and other people's plans for me. Surviving my past and pressing towards my future set me free. Now I'm loving me. I am who God says I am. Said I am who God says I am. Wonderfully made.
I'm so glad he chose me
For his purpose.
Everybody say.
Saying I am who God says I am. Wonderful. Oh,
I'm somebody who chose me
for His purpose.
I know my destiny.
I know my destiny. I am who
God says I am.
everything He spoke about me.
I am who God says I am.
He said I'm wonderfully, and I'm so glad
That He chose me.
for His purpose.
I know my destiny.
I know my
God says I am.
I am a masterpiece, yes I am.
God says I am. Wonderfully made. I'm so glad He chose me.
For His purpose.
I know my destiny.
My destiny, my destiny, my destiny.
My destiny,
Say it, man.
destiny.
My destiny, destiny. No, my
Got a future in Him. He gave me a destiny. So far for me to go. So far for me to go. I know. New life. New joy. New peace. I got it. Ooh,
I know my destiny.
my destiny.
And that was Jonathan Dunn, actually Pastor Jonathan Dunn out of Ohio, and his song Destiny featuring Jason Nelson. I thought that was fitting just for the show, knowing that God has our destiny in the palm of His hands, and He created us to be exactly who He called us to be, but we got to know our destiny.
Absolutely.
Well, I got Rex Hardy Jr. right here live on the Artist Stage radio show on Tabernacle Radio. If you're checking it out on my page, go to the Tabernacle Radio Facebook page so you can hear all the good music, and you'll still hear the interview as well. But that's where you want to be, right here for the interview with Rex Hardy. Well, Rex, before we jump into your life, because I'm gonna talk about everything. No, not everything.
Okay.
We don't have enough time to talk about everything. You have, I'm sure, I know you have. You've influenced so many musicians, not just from Chicago, because you know our city is pretty dope when it comes to
very dope. Yeah.
to musicians. We've been holding it down for some years.
Yeah.
So, but you influenced so many, inspired so many musicians. I'm sure around the world, because you've been around the world.
Yeah.
With the artists and the shows that you've been connected to. What are some things that people say to you, like when they first see you? Just can you think of something? Or maybe one of the weirdest things a musician would
Well,
say.
the
"Oh,
weirdest thing to
man."
me is people ask me like, "What do I do in the morning?"
Oh wow, really?
It's like, what kind of question is that? It's like,
What do you do in the morning?
yeah, they be like, "Hey man, like, what's your daily regimen? Like, what do you do?" It's like, I take a shower and brush my teeth. Like, I do exactly what you. It's like little stuff. It's weird because if people look at you like that, it's just like, wow, you really care about, you know, what's happening in my day to day. But I mean, autographs, and I mean, it's just weird. But
And that's probably a little scary, isn't it?
it can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On my Facebook page the other day, I put like 4 or 5 questions for those who sometimes we want to race into this industry because of the platforms we see people on. But one of the questions I put on there was, are you aware and open to growing up in front of the world on a platform?
I wasn't, but I didn't have a choice, because at that point everybody the way everybody sees you go up, they see you go down.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, when people get real hype about, oh, I want to be this person, or I want to be like, okay, well, you can do it, but the minute you fall, everybody knows.
Yep,
and that usually travels faster than how far you go up. So it's, you know, it can be scary, but I mean, it is what it is.
But long as you become aware of it, once you get on the platform, because it'll help you to navigate, and even the people you connected to. So let's jump to speaking of being connected to people, American Idol. Yeah. So if you all don't know, he played on American Idol for some years. Yeah. He was the main drummer for American Idol and also directing musical pieces as well. Seriously, how did you get, I mean, it sounds like a regular radio question, but no, for real, how did you get connected to American Idol?
Well, for American Idol, I did 3 seasons. I did season 10 through 12.
Wow.
And it was funny because a lot of people, because Teddy was the original drummer. Teddy Campbell, So a lot of people was like, oh, okay, he got, you know, the show because of Teddy. Teddy didn't know I got the show until I called him. Okay. Because he had moved to something else. But Ray Chu, who's the music director for Apollo for years, I met him through working with Mary. And he asked me one day, he was like, man, if I called you, would you, you know, come work with me? I'm like, yeah. So he called me for a few shows. And he wanted to see if I could read music. Okay. So I did those few shows, you know, I read the music or whatever. And then he called me, I think the end of 2010. And he said, what do you have for like the next 5 months? I was like, what? I was like, so I'm thinking it's a tour. I'm like, whatever, you know, if you need me, just call me. And then he called me back. He was like, yeah, man, we're doing American Idol. So I had to move to LA.
Now, were you married at the time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been married for 10 years.
So, okay, so since you've been with Mary, you've been married. Mary J. Blige, you've been married.
Well, yeah. Yeah, basically.
So okay, so let's stop for a second. If y'all didn't hear what he just said, he had to move. So all the musicians, singers, artists, and everything, this is serious business. I mean, it sounds like cool and, oh, wow, he had to go to California. This is serious business. We're not talking about a single guy at the time. He had a family, a wife, and you had to move, like go away, right?
I had to go away. It wasn't really no coming home and visiting because we worked, at that particular time, we working 6 days a week. Wow. So to fly home for one day was kind of out of the question because our days usually started at like 6, 7 in the morning. Wow. So I wouldn't, you know, but she understood, you know, she would come visit, but I mean, it's still hard. Right. You know, but doing Idol taught me, it taught me how to conquer so much musically. Okay. Because our first rehearsal, and I tell this like in my clinics, our first rehearsal, they came in and just gave us 40 music charts. Wow. And said,
but you had to read,
right? You had to read, yeah. Okay. So it was like for years people didn't know I could read because with Mary or Puff or you know, certain gigs you don't have to know how to read. Okay. So and even maybe in the gospel world that's not required. Oh yeah, no, gospel doesn't really require you to read. So it just they were shocked. Okay. And, yeah, we did that for 3 years.
So you left home, Chicago. You moved to California. And how long were you gone?
Well, the first month, we were back and forth. We were out there like 2 weeks, then home 2 weeks. Okay. And after that, I was gone 4 months straight.
4 months.
Straight, yeah.
So, again, everybody want to run to this industry. Not saying that it's bad he had to move, but this is, you may not think that these things happen or just having to adjust emotionally to that. So, were you like a newlywed? Almost like a newlywed?
Idol was, I got married in 2008. I think Idol was 2011.
Okay, all right. So just a couple years in.
Yeah, a couple years, yeah.
So that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Yeah,
Jonathan McReynolds wrote a song called Pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was giving Jonathan these props on my show. He ain't been on here yet. But anyway, he wrote a song called Pressure. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, but if that's your dream and you're with who you're supposed to be with, they understand. And if they don't, then you all got to figure out how to deal with it because
That's true.
That's what you want. That's what you always want to do. So,
And I want to speak to his wife is watching, and I applaud her. Can we give his wife an applause just for her being who she is and being supportive and holding things down? Because I want to just but just say to those who want to or are, and there's so many that I know, and so many that want to be married to, dating, connected to people who are on these platforms and in the spotlight. That's also something that you should think about and take on in your mind of what you're connecting yourself with and having those real conversations. Because I'm sure there was a lot of conversations that are going on. We're not going to go deep into the personal part about it, but that's still connected to who you are.
Oh yeah.
And the platforms that you're on, because it's not just Rex, it's his family as well. Yeah. So going back to American Idol, well, first let's see what we have people maybe saying on Facebook Live. We have quite a few people checking out the show, in addition to your lovely wife, Thomas Reed, your wife, Miss Tiffany Brooks Hardy, Felicia Banks. Is that your brother?
That's my sister. That's
not your brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Felicia. Your sister.
Yeah.
Felicia Banks is saying hey. Brian Gray, Leah Corton, or I think I may be saying your name wrong. Jackie Leatherwood.
Yeah, that's my cousin.
We got a lot of people. Kanisha Vassar, of course.
That's my cousin. Too, yeah.
We know you're connected to the Vassar family.
Yeah.
Let's see. Quite a few people are saying, hey, and also call in to talk to Rex, 312-629-4499. But also, Rex, I know someone that you know, and I have to give a shout out to her, Miss Alicia Gagne. Do you know Alicia Gagne?
Yeah.
And Alicia, probably know Alicia Short prior to that, but also Alicia is my stylist, and she is a sponsor for myself and the different garments I wear on the show. Nice. You guys can't see it, and I'm gonna show a little later, but a skirt that I have on tonight. I had on a beautiful outfit last week, but Gagne Designs, and Alicia's a famous designer. You know, she's a celebrity designer. You know her personally.
Yeah, I know her personally, but
But she's done well. But want to say hey to Miss Alicia Gagne, and I'll show you guys later the beautiful and cute skirt I have on. It's like the little baby. Is it the baby doll skirt? I don't know what they call it. What is it, Ashley? I don't know. I'm sorry, Alicia. I'm saying it wrong. It's a cute tan skirt, but you all will see it later. But I know
a tutu.
A tutu. Thank you, Rex.
The only reason I know that is because my daughter. That's her favorite skirt.
Oh my God, I feel so.
I don't know anything about women's fashion.
It's okay, but you helped me out, and I couldn't. Tutu. Thank you, Rex. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're having a gorgeous tan color tutu tonight from Gagne Design. So please support her. But all the people that are checking out the show, and also Miss Lavanja Hubbard. You know who Lavanja Hubbard is. Yeah. She's on Tabernacle Radio too every Thursday. The Duchess, live with the Duchess at 9 p.m. every Thursday. But Rex, going back to the American Idol, so you were connected to all of these different artists and music genres. Now we know you come from gospel, and I'm sure you didn't always listen to gospel, but I know your parents made you listen to gospel.
Yeah,
right. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure they did. But you also were playing country, rock music. How was that? Was it difficult? Did you like it?
I actually fell in love with it.
Okay.
Because what happens is when you come up not playing a certain genre of music, you tend to take it for granted.
Okay.
People do the same thing with gospel. Like, you have certain drummers or musicians, period, that listen to gospel musicians. I'd be like, oh man, I could play that. Or I'd be like, okay, try it if you want to. So then when you start playing country and rock, it's like they play it a certain way, which makes it sound how it sounds. So I think it took my respect up to a whole nother level for all those musicians who do that type of music. I want to ask them, you know, for notes or something. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, it was a respect across the board.
So have you been called on by, of course we'll go down a list of all the other artists you've worked with, but have you played with any country artists or rock bands?
Not outside of Idol.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
But I mean, I've done like, you know, a few sessions here and there, like dealing with Interscope and things like that through Idol. But as far as going on the road, no, I haven't. I think that's probably one of my dreams.
Okay.
To do a country gig before I'm done.
Now, there's a song out that I really like. This her name is the young lady. Her name is BB Rexsell. I think I'm saying her name. Do you know how to say her last name? Rexsell. She has Florida, the Florida line. I think I'm saying it's called Meant to Be, and she's featuring another country group. Georgia line. I think I'm saying the name wrong, but anyway, I love the song. But you know the young lady I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And she has a song. I'm just thinking about different country artists. She's a younger artist, but I highly admonish anybody that wants to be in the music industry. Don't just limit yourself to listening to one style of music, because you see what happened with Rex. They were like, "Hey, do you got 5 months?" He was like, "For what?"
Yeah.
5 months to change his life, where he was introduced. I'm sure you knew about other genres, but now you have to play this music.
Yeah, listening and playing them are two totally different things.
Okay.
And I mean, thanks, to like Teddy Campbell. He was one guy. This is why I was still with Mary. He sat me down and was like, man, you have to learn other styles of music. Like, you have to. And I did it. Lo and behold, like 5 years later, that's when that happened.
So Teddy, obviously he knew what he was talking about.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But it's different when you hearing it versus when you in it. But we want people to be proactive and do the things that people are telling them to do, versus just figuring it out while you're in it. Well, Rex, we're gonna go to some more music, but before we do that, we got Rodney East is on Facebook Live saying,
what
"Hey,
up, Rod?"
He's saying, teach the people, Rex. Always been an amazing drummer, brother, and much love to you and your family."
That's my man.
And so many people are saying, "Hey" to Rex on Facebook. Jerry Moore is saying, "Hey." We got Martise. Of course, he goes by the name of M-Dub on Sean, Martise Whitehurst.
Oh, yeah.
On Facebook. Trevor Jackson is saying, "Hey," and quite a few other people. But every week also, Rex, we talk about industry. I give like industry updates, just things that can help those who are connected to the industry to be better. And I want to, and I believe, because you're a producer as well, so he's getting paid. Obviously, he's getting paid as a drummer and music director, but he's getting some nice coins, I guess. I sound old, like I don't know what's going on. Is that the word they use?
Some
coins?
people use it, yeah.
Coins. Ashley, get me together. Coins. But there's a website called Sound Exchange. Have you heard of Sound Exchange before? Rex is going to have to go ahead and log into this.
I do. Sound
Exchange. And I try to mention all these great things. If you have not connected yourself with Sound Exchange, if you are a writer, artist, producer, anyone connected to singing, playing, writing, producing anything, Sound Exchange is a website, a company that it started about maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
And so for those who, mostly for singers who were not being properly compensated.
Oh, okay.
They may have not written a song, but they've sung on everything. And so you know how things have been. Mostly writers get paid, and publishers.
Absolutely.
And even musicians and the background singers, but the actual artists, they weren't getting compensated for being the performer. So Sound Exchange was created, and if you are an artist, writer, so now it's not just about the artists, but also writers. So basically to receive royalties that you may not have gotten if you were not the songwriter. So you probably got some coins waiting for you, Rex.
Like it.
And it's also, like I said, for those who have written music and just probably gotten compensated for projects or, I want to say intellectual property that is out there. So go ahead, go to soundexchange.com, log in. Everybody, only takes about, I was with an artist the other day, we were going over this. It only takes about 15-20 minutes of your time, and it will change your pockets. So soundexchange.com. But Rex, have you ever played quartet music? I'm sure
I played. Well, my father had a quartet group.
So you grew up.
Oh, I grew up
on quartet music.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go to some music right now. This group is out of Indianapolis, and they are called. Have you heard the Williams Singers before?
Yeah, I love their style. Yeah,
the Williams Singers, and they have a new song out, and we're gonna play it. This is during our indie segment because we're gonna keep pushing independent artists. And if you have any music, and not just indie artists, you want it to be played on the Artist Stage Radio Show, please send it to artiststageradio@gmail.com. Send your music now. Send it now. artiststageradio@gmail.com. But let's go right now to the Williams Singers and their new song entitled Increase.
more of him. That's the way it must be. I regress so that he may impress upon me the fullness of his glory.
My agenda
becomes second.
if it's even a priority at all. My plans, they have to concede to his plans. So I surrender, I lift my hands. Oh, he must increase. He must increase.
Something that cometh from above. He that is on the earth is not glad. And speaking on the earth, but he that cometh from heaven is above. He must, oh Jesus, God, no. I said he must increase. We got to lift him. He's God and God alone. He's got an ease. Let's talk to him. Daddy, you belong. Oh, yeah. This world is in a bad condition. God, we need you to end. Let it end. Oh, yeah. Let it end. Come here, lady.
And that was from our independent artist segment, the Williams Singers. And they're not just independent artists. Everybody knows the Williams Singers.
Yeah.
And that's their new song, Increase, right here on the artist stage. Support the Williams Singers. They're out of Indianapolis, my other hometown. You know, I lived in Indy for about 10 years.
Really?
I worked for Ty Scott Records. Right out of a year after college is when I moved to Indianapolis.
Nice.
And I was graced with being connected to and working for Ty Scott Records, where I learned all my good industry knowledge. And that was like a training ground. It was a training ground, or I'll say my performing arts school during my time of learning and becoming better in the music industry. But we have Rex Hardy right here on the artist stage, and everybody's tuning in. Call in 312-629-4499. Any questions you have for Rex Hardy, he is here to talk with you all. Thank you all for checking it out on Facebook Live. Put your comments in. We have Marvin Jeffries. Oh, you want the email address for independent artists? Send it to artistsstageradio@gmail.com. Aisha James, she is my other connector and team member for the Artist Stage radio show. She's on Facebook Live right now. We got so many people saying hey. to Rex Hardy, but continue to tune in and share tonight's show. Chris Southward saying, totally love what you're doing. Thank you so much, Chris. Share tonight's show. But let's get back to Rex Hardy. That's who I got sitting right here with me. The music director for Miss Mary J. Blige. I'm gonna go ahead and list most of the people that I know of that you that you are connected to. He's so humble and
yeah, I mean,
but I know when he be on them sets, I know you get it, be
you
talking.
gotta turn into another person. Then
he's a whole nother person. I understand. We talking about Puff Daddy, Robin Thicke. I really like Robin Thicke too. I will say,
he's a guy, yeah,
he's pretty dope. Robin Thicke, Jordan Sparks, Jennifer Hudson. Who else, Rex? Who else? I'm missing somebody. Avant, Dave Hollister.
Yeah, it is Selena Johnson. She was one of my first.
Selena Johnson. Yeah. Selena Johnson. He played for my mother. No, I don't know. Did you play for Chicago Mass? You ever play Chicago Mass?
Did. I've programmed for Chicago Mass. I never played. Some Chicago of those people,
Mass.
I'll program, but I haven't played. But yeah, that's one of them. New Direction.
New Direction.
Yeah.
Gray Boy. The Gray Boy camp. Just tons and tons of people. I know I'm missing some people, and I'm sure you got some more.
It doesn't matter. That's enough.
You sure, Rex?
Yeah, I'm positive.
He's so cool.
Yeah, it don't matter.
but I'm mentioning those people because Rex, we know his parents are pastors. He grew up in the church, and you love God.
Oh,
correct?
Absolutely.
He's saved. He's a follower of Christ. Rex, you have been around a lot of different people. Mm-hmm. It wasn't all church.
Nah.
You've been in a lot of circles where, not saying that people are doing bad things,
right,
but they may not have believed what you believed, or they may have. Was that difficult when it came to communicating with people, or did they automatically say, oh, he a church boy, or we can't talk about certain things around him, or did they critique you, criticize you, or were they like, cool, we good?
Well, I think it worked both ways, because most of the people that aren't in the church automatically think that everybody in the church is judgmental. So what happens is you get around these circles, and people start doing what they do behind closed doors, and it's like, dog, it's all right. Like, ain't nobody perfect. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect. The pastor ain't perfect. So that was one part of it. But then you can't look at them being on our side and being like, oh man, you can't do that. Like, these people are grown. They gonna do what they want to do. We gonna do what we want to do. So it's like, but I always found out though, when I was around certain people, they would be like, it's something special about him. Whether they knew my parents was pastors or whatever, like, whether they saw me do something or whatever, they'd be like, okay, there's something about him. So, it's a two-edged sword.
A two-edged sword. So can you think of a certain time or instance where you saw the end result of the conversation, maybe, or even just you being around somebody, of them wanting to come to Christ or know God even more from what they saw in you?
I think it was, I remember talking to one of my homies. He was younger than me.
Okay.
And he came to my room. We were just chilling, and he was trying to figure out how to deal with being on the road in that environment, but still keeping God where he needed to be.
Okay.
And we talked. I was like, man, it ain't gonna be easy. I was like, you're gonna mess up. So let me just put that out there. You're gonna mess up, and you got to figure out how to get back on track. Okay. And you can't take I'm out here, so this is the life I need to live. Because honestly, sometimes the people out there live better than some of the people in church, to be honest with you. And I've been around. So it's like, I just told him, man, if you mess up, get up and try over.
Get up and try again. Yeah. And we know God's grace is, it's sufficient.
God,
and it's and I'm sure you've experienced and probably have just poured out your heart to God. And not saying because you just out here wilding out doing stuff, but we live in a life and we're trying to get better every day. And I'm sure you've been around things that have been tempting, and you having to be challenged in your own walk, just being real and in real life. And it goes back to the scripture that we started with at the top of the show, 1 Peter 2:12. Be careful to live properly among your unbelieving neighbors. Then even if they accuse you of doing wrong, they will see your honorable behavior, and they will give honor to God, who judges the world. So it's like, man, okay, we saw, not saying Rex, but we know they love God, but we still, it might have messed up, but we still see, them still trying and honoring God and reverencing him, because he is the one who controls all.
Exactly.
So just being aware of who's watching you and who's around you. Now, you have worked with Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Sean Combs.
He has so many names. I don't know.
Now, were you a part of the last Bad Boy tour?
I started the 2 years ago. When he did the 2 shows. So I was part of that.
Okay.
And then once the Bad Boy tour went out, we was going out with Mary.
Okay.
Again. So, I mean, just to get a call, like get those type of calls is like, because I mean, I used to watch a drummer, Gerald Hayward. He did it. This other guy named Boots did it, but Gerald Hayward used to play with Puff, like when Puff started.
Oh wow!
So to watch him and kind of come up with him, he played with Mary too, and to see him and then to get the same calls that he's it's
it has to be mind blowing.
Oh yeah.
So they're definitely watching your musicianship.
Yeah.
But they're watching you just overall.
Yeah.
Overall, and you may never see or hear the testimonies from people you've come in contact with, but I believe that the light in you and the Holy Spirit just shining and guiding you has impacted the lives of those that have been connected to you. I believe that. We have Rex Hardy live on the Artist Stage radio show. Now, Rex, I know of a project that just recently that you have produced and worked on, your family, but they're also an amazing gospel group, Kinsmen.
Yeah.
You along with Mr. Percy Beatty. Percy was on the show.
Oh yeah.
And I was right there with you all and know the ins and outs of it. But Kinsmen, they have a new project coming out very soon, and we're gonna go right now to their current single, which you co-produced and produced with Percy Beatty, on the Artist Stage. It's actually written by my pastor. He's writing everything all the time. Pastor Charles Jenkins, and the song is right now on the Artist Stage, God's Really Been Good, produced right here by Rex Hardy, but by the group Kinsmen. Check it out.
He opened my eyes to see he never gave up on me, a friend I could never repay. And he covers me every day. I was covered in sin and shame, but he washed and erased the stains. He forgave and dismissed my past. Didn't let trouble last. God's really been good. God's really been good. God's really been good. I know he's been good to me. God's really been good. Never left me alone. God's really been good. 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 Oh, God's really been good to me. Blessed, delivered, healed. I'm redeemed, salvation, signed and sealed. He rescued my wretched soul, and now I'm in the sacred fold, adopted into this family. He is the reason why I'm free. He did it all on Calvary, and he did it all for me. God's really been good. God's really been good. He's never left me alone, no. God's really been good. Always by my side. God's really been good. God's really been good to me. God's really been good. God's really been good. God's really been good. God's really been good. God's really been good to me. He's never, ever left my side. Never left my side. There's nothing in my life I have to hide. Oh, 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 yeah. He loves me anyway, yeah. And he's in my life to stay. Oh, yeah. Said he's really been good. Said he's really been good. I said he's really been good. I know that he's really been good. He's loving me. He's
phenomenal gospel group Kinsman, right out of Chicago's own, with their latest single, God's Really Been Good. Check out new music from Kinsman, co-produced by Mr. Rex Hardy Jr.
And Percy Baby.
Yeah. I should have brought Percy back on the show too. We had a good show with Percy.
Percy done put me in my place a lot since I was a kid.
Put you in your place, like checked you.
Yeah,
I could believe that. Percy, he's a phenomenal producer and songwriter. And songwriter. We got so many people saying hey on Facebook, but y'all gotta call in before the show is over. 312-629-4499. Say hey to Rex Hardy. Maybe your wife will call in. Maybe she'll
I doubt it.
No, you doubt it?
I doubt that.
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe not. We see Antonio Henley has joined the show. Antonio out of Indianapolis. We played the Williams Singers tonight. We played them on the show, their song Increase. But Rex, let's go ahead. Let's jump right into some things I know people really want to know and they want us to talk about. Tour life. The people you have been around, the day-to-day. What is tour life like? But before we talk about that, I know we do know of a person that you have worked with who's kind of in this. Well, he's always in the spotlight, but phenomenal songwriter and artist, Mr. R. Kelly. If you guys have heard or checked it out on Facebook, Kales as we call him, R. Kelly recently shared his heart live on Facebook through a song, and I think the song came out, he released or had it done a few years ago, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I don't know. But he was admitting, well, that's the word, admit, but he was, the song is I Admit, but he was sharing his heart about some things he's endured as an artist, a man, a person, a songwriter. One thing I do want to bring out, and that's why it's important for you guys to go to soundexchange.com and join today. He did mention his difficulties with reading and writing and struggling with dyslexia, which he said kind of caused him not to be able to read a few things early in his career with his contracts. But other things he talked about, but overall he talked about the things in his heart of being affected and infected by life, being connected to music, being a songwriter, and just being a man overall. So
yeah, he put a lot in that song.
He did. I'm not asking you to give your thoughts or opinions per se, but as a person connected to the music industry, can you relate to being a man, obviously, and having your heart in it, and the things that are connected to you from being in this industry?
Oh yeah. I mean, because me people know I'm a family man. Mm-hmm. Like I don't really like doing too much without them, like I'm more, even when I'm home in Chicago, like I don't really go anywhere or, long as they see me, I'm fine.
Got you.
But at the same time, it's like when you got people pulling from you over here, very seldom do you have people ask you like, how are you doing?
Right.
So it's, especially when you're on his level, that's a whole different ball game.
It is.
But,
yep.
Even on my level, it's like you have a few people, like they'll be like, man, yo, you all right? Like I see, they can just see it in your face. Like,
yeah.
So it's like when it comes to that, then you find yourself closing yourself off from people, and and then you just hit a wall, which is basically look like what he did.
Yeah, I can agree.
And by him being a songwriter, he put a song out.
He put it all in his song.
Yeah. So
would you agree that it's definitely important to, I don't see nothing wrong with going to see a counselor. I think everybody should talk to somebody at some point, just in your life to kind of get things off your chest. Just more so just taking care of your mental state.
Oh, absolutely.
And your emotional well-being is so important.
Oh, I'm definitely starting therapy sessions.
You definitely are?
In the next week or so, yeah, because it's,
see?
Yeah. And I used to think you were crazy.
No.
If you did it, to be honest, because in the church, they say that if God couldn't do it, then it couldn't be done. It's like when you get old, it's like, okay, I get it, but this person didn't go to school for 8 years.
Right, for nothing.
Yeah, to not have any clients because you're waiting on God. But yeah, no, sometimes you need it for whatever reason.
Yeah,
so
that's true. So you heard it right here on the artist stage. Rex highly endorses therapy.
Oh, absolutely.
Therapy, and we're not making light of it.
No.
I've been in counseling before. It helps for you to get those things out. you're talking about the brain is a real thing.
Yeah.
It's a part of the body. It's not just your heart and your lungs need help. The brain
Yeah.
does as well. But let's go right to the tour life. So what is that like, Rex? You have to break it down minute by minute, but what is tour life like for you all who are listening who want to be in this? You check it out. What is the tour life like?
I think on every level is different, but I think the first thing you have to have integrity.
Okay.
To where you should, because if you don't, more than likely you'll end up back home.
Okay.
But you have to learn one thing. Like, and I tell a lot of people, you starting in church, you got to learn how to at least be on time for church, because some people are late for church, but then they want you to call them to play for Justin Timberlake. It's like, wait, if you can't, be on time to play for praise and worship, then you all of a sudden gonna be on time because you playing in front of 40,000 people. Like, it don't work like that.
It doesn't.
So like I said, you have to have integrity. You got to be a man of your word, even when you don't want to be. You may make somebody a promise while you out, and then while you out, you be like, I don't want to do that anymore. But it's a job, and I think that's what a lot of people get. They take it for granted. Like, no, we're out there getting paid. Yeah, we're doing what we love to do, but that's a job.
Yep.
So I mean, from rehearsals you may, like I said, depending on the gig, depending on the music director, you may rehearse 10 hours a day, maybe more.
Yep.
I mean, when I first got married, we was rehearsing 14 hours a day.
Oh, 14 hours?
Yeah, because we were new.
Okay.
So we were new and we didn't have that many rehearsals. So we were just like, and rest in peace, Cornell, he was out there with me.
Cornell Thickpen.
He was right next to me. So we was like, man, all right, we got to get through this, But as time progressed, rehearsals are usually the hardest part. And then you move on to, the shows, but you got to be on time for sound check. The show, you can't, do so much to where you can't perform. Right. Because you're getting paid to perform. Making your flights, like some people be missing flights. It's like, man.
And then they don't care. It's like, oh, well, they'll pay for it.
Exactly.
Give me another one. I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then when they're at home, it's like, man, it's too late now. You done made that bed, so you gotta lie there.
Yeah.
But it can be a strenuous situation. But like I said, it all depends on who you're under. If the artist is cool, that really helps. But if the music director, knows how to keep everything in line, the managers, then you can get through it. It's really a fun time in life if you take advantage of it.
So the character, integrity, being on time, pretty much I'll say the people that have been on the show, they've definitely stressed that part about the character and your integrity.
Yeah.
If you don't have it together now, start working on it before you get on these stages, because the stage that you build for yourself, if it's not strong, it's going to fall.
Oh, absolutely.
It will fall. It's not going to hold you up. You kind of building it up yourself. Ashley Washington is agreeing with you. She's saying it takes a lot of work, discipline, and sacrifice.
Oh, yeah. And that's what I love about her. I'll use her for example, because I've known her for since we were kids. What happens is, like, you'll put certain people in a position and you all are friends, and then end up regretting it.
Wow.
Because they'll take advantage of your friendship and bring it over to professional.
Professional, yep.
She's one person, she hasn't done that.
She knows how to separate.
Right, she's on time. You don't have to tell her. So it's like, even with people that work with their friends, you have to, and there's been a lot of people I've worked with, friendship wise, from Chicago, like Marcus Kinsey,
right,
JJ, like Ethan. It's so many, it's too many to name, but Swole, who's out with Justin Timberlake.
How is Ethan or JJ doing? You talking JJ out in California?
Right. He's doing Jesse J right now.
Oh wow, I remember JJ from years and years ago.
That's my
and Ethan.
Yep.
We talking about the older guys. They consider us older now, but
they doing even with JJ. Like, JJ's older than me, and I still look up to him. But by me being the music director, he still respects me as that.
So he's always had a great heart.
Oh my God,
spirit. JJ is always.
JJ's
I've
phenomenal.
known him been just the same. He's just.
You can't pay JJ to change.
He's just a great guy. Yeah. He's a great guy. But keep going. You're just talking about just staying consistent.
Yeah, just stay consistent and don't take your relationships for granted. Because relationships, and I tell people this all the time, from the younger guys to some of the older guys, if people don't want to have a relationship with you, they don't want to work with you. And
relationships,
yeah, like I try my best to stay the same way. And I mean, you're gonna have certain people that say, oh, she's this way, he's that way. That's fine. But the majority of the people say, oh no, he's cool, she's cool, I love working with him. You're fine. Right. Like, you know, and I learned that from people like JJ or somebody like Swole, who I grew up with. Those type of guys, they show me like, man, what's the use in changing? Right. You know,
just stay if you need to become better, get to that point
first. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
and stay that way. Yeah. Now, I noticed you put up a post as we're going to go ahead and start closing out the show. We're going to close out the show with the lady that pays you for real. The girl, she was here at Ravinia a week or so ago.
Yeah, Friday.
Out in Ravinia. I haven't been to Ravinia this year with the rain. I got to like force myself to go out there.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But you were out there with her having a good time. Miss Mary J. Blige, if y'all don't know who she is, that is the lady who pays. She pays him big money. But no, he's been working with her for years. But we're going to close out the show with her latest song. But you put a post up recently, and you might not mind, you may mind if I say what it was. Basically, you were just saying overall how you've grown and you want to stay positive with things, right? And how you appreciate people, and that's the route that you've chosen to take as being a part of just your life and being on these stages.
Yeah, I mean, it took me years to get there because I've always been one of them guys. You cross me once, I'm done. Okay. Hey, we don't have to talk about it no more. It wasn't like 1 and 2 and 3 chances. It was one, and I was done. And then it was like, why? You know, because I went through a situation a couple of years ago where I was in the hospital.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they had to rush me to the hospital. So when you go through stuff like that, you get to the point like, man, why do I hate this person? And I tell people, you don't have to be, people get it twisted, you don't have to be friends. You know, you could just be associates, and keep, and I think that's where I got to, because I always thought, oh my God, you know, I have to be around this person, I have to do, it was like, no, you don't. Just long as you genuinely love them, right, and you don't wish the worst on them, pray for them and keep it moving.
And it's a freedom that comes with it. I definitely can relate. I'm at that place too with myself. Yeah, that freedom is priceless.
It's everything. Yeah,
and it's like, but once you go ahead and say I'm not bound, boy, then you start getting hit with stuff trying to challenge you.
Oh yeah, it's happened to me the last couple of weeks.
It starts trying to challenge you in that. But check out Rex's Instagram page. He put up a phenomenal post just basically stating, summarizing what he just said. Well, Rex, we have had a phenomenal time on the artist stage. Sure, I know it went back kind of quick, but we've had a great time. Thank you all for checking out Rex Hardy on the artist stage on tabernacleradio.org, listening and watching it on Facebook. Send your music to artiststageradio@gmail.com. I want to say, just give another shout out to Miss Alicia Garnier, who designs the items in fashion